Let's talk about a living will. A living will is something that it's a legal document. It's also known as an advanced healthcare directive, where you state the medical treatment preferences that you desire. Whether you would want a ventilator, whether you would want a feeding tube, whether you would want blood transfusions, dialysis, any prolonged treatment, is something that you prepare ahead of time to be able to let your doctors, your family, people can have clarity as far as the things that you want done. You also can choose an agent, a healthcare agent in your living will, to say that if you're not able to make the decisions, that the person that you trust, you name them in the living will, they'll make decisions for you. Make sure that you have discussed it with the person that you choose, and that they are willing to make those decisions for you when you cannot make the decisions. Now, a living will is not the same as a living trust. A living will is a medical document. A living trust is something to do your assets. So it's something totally separate. Why do we need a living will? We need a living will so our wishes can be followed. So, whatever you state in your living will be followed to a T, because that's what you want. It gives clarity to your loved ones. I have seen, as a nurse, many years working on the floor, where families come and they fight because one family member says this is what mom and dad would want, and the other person says no, this is not what they want. But if there's no living will, there's a lot of disagreements in the family. So it's good to have one where we have to follow the directive of what you told us to do. It prevents family conflict. When you're sick, that's not the time where families are supposed to be fighting. They're supposed to be united. They're supposed to be, there for you, to make sure that your wishes are taken care of. Sometimes family may not really like the wishes that you put down, but you have put those wishes down because that's what you want. Then it has to be followed. You make sure that when you do, that you give it to your doctor, that you give it to the hospital, and that you give it to the healthcare agent that you chose. You also have to make sure that your family is aware that you do have a living will. Now, a living will varies from state to state as far as the state law, so make sure that you check your state and make sure, what do you need as far as signatures, notarization, things of that nature. It's very important to have a living will, and it's better to do it sooner than later, not when you're sick. It's easier to do it when you have clarity of mind, when you're not sick and making decisions of emotion, and then let your family know that you have one, so then it can be followed. Thank you. Subscribe for more information.